Hello, hello. Welcome, 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 everybody. Crystal. Automobilos. Welcome, everybody. Just waiting on Gary. Should be here any second. Hola, Dewey, Big Papa Moore, Scott, how you doing? Paul, Izzy. Great shirt, it is. The shirt of wet shaving. All right, we're getting some requests here. J-Mac, I'm waiting. All right, Gary, hit the camera with the plus button on it. And I'll bring you in. Let's see. I wonder if, there we go. There he is.
Now we're here.
What's up, brother?
How you doing, my man?
There's J-Mac. Now we're just waiting on Gardner.
Que pasó, hermano? You look much taller.
Yeah, Angelo is treading through the Shire right now, looking for Frodo. So he couldn't be here today. So I took over the reins for him.
Nice.
See if this is Gardner. It is. Get Gardner in here, and then we'll get through the spiel.
Right.
Jason wrote me a script because I tend to swear too much. So, Gardner, what's going on, brother? Let me turn this volume up just a little bit so I can hear.
Hey, Gardner. What's going on, brother?
So, in case you don't know who the guy to my side is, that's Gary Spruill. And he's from Mojo Handcrafts, amazing brush artisan, and a friend of mine. So let's get through this opening spiel. What's up, everyone? We're back again. It's Friday night at 7:30, and we're coming at you live from the Razor Company for another Artisan Spotlight. I'm Angelo. I'm Ken. We got Gardner here, J-Mac. And tonight we're interviewing Gary from Mojo Handcrafts.
Hey, guys.
We couldn't be more excited. Gary's been manufacturing premium shaving brushes for years, and tonight we're excited to learn all about his company. We're going to dive right in and get started. Thanks for joining us, Gary. I know that we've been talking about this for quite a while, and I'm glad that it's finally happening.
The honor is all mine.
Yeah, so before we get started, there is going to be a couple giveaways tonight. Gift card, Jason? Yes, no?
No, let's do the chubby or the short one.
Jason is going to buy a Mojo stump handle.
Ooh, oh, nice.
If the whoever wins, if they would like to have a knot, then Gary and the winner can work that out. But Jason will buy the handle, and then if they want a knot, they can get one from Gary, or if they prefer to set their own. Either way. And also, I don't know if Gary has it with him. Gary is giving away that beautiful brush right there to one lucky winner in the audience. And when that happens, I'm going to join on my phone and pretend like I'm not here so that I can win.
Yeah, so I'm just going to be very quiet and just sit back and enjoy this, and I'm just going to quietly join with my my burner phone here in the comment section under my other account, so don't mind me.
Yeah. So
Nice.
we'll do that towards the end after we get through some questions. Once we get through our we'll all ask some questions, and then we'll take some audience questions.
Yeah.
I'm sure Gio and Bram will be in there putting questions in for anything that we may have missed that they want you to cover. So tell us introduce yourself and tell us how you got started in wet shaving and making brushes.
Well, my name's Gary. I am the head broom pusher at Mojo Handcrafts. How did I get started? When did I get started in wet shaving? I want to say in 2008 is when I originally got started. My grandfather passed away, and when we were going through his stuff, I found his shaving brush, and I brought it home, got it restored, and I've never stopped since. So the honor was to him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. It's always cool when there's like a legacy tied into something. Yeah, yes. For sure.
Yeah. I still have his old Simpson cup.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I wish I had some stuff. I know like my grandfather's probably used some shaving stuff back in the day, and I wish I had that, but I don't. Yeah, legacy or heirloom pieces are always very cool to have. Yeah.
I agree. It's funny, this Instagram, y'all know that I'm kind of new to Instagram, and right now all of us are in blue face. I'm sitting going, okay.
Yeah, Instagram is it can be fickle.
She's a tricky girl.
Yeah.
Oh, she is.
Yes.
She's a tricky girl.
And she's not shy about it either.
No.
That's pretty funny. But all of us are right now, we all look like Smurfs. So cool.
Hey, we could look worse. Maybe it's an improvement for some of us.
I know it's an improvement for me. I even took a shower for this interview, so it's pretty cool.
Oh wow, jeez, there you go.
So you got started. You restored an heirloom brush, and then when did you start Mojo Handcrafts? How we know it today?
It's probably been about 5.5 years ago, and how it came to be was I was making shaving brushes for family members as gifts, salt and pepper shakers, bar pulls, things that don't lace, and for years. And basically it was one of those deals where I literally lost my job, and I was at retirement, and I just said, it's time for me to do something I wanted to. And that's kind of what I did. And I said, we're just going to start turning handles.
Yeah.
And we started from there. And now that I look back on it, the Mojo signature brand, it's evolved 2 or 3 times. And, the greatest thing I've got is it's not just the brushes, but it's the friendships, the customers, the camaraderie, the brotherhood, the entire environment of a team. It's all the biggest part of what I do. So I get that much more enjoyment out of it than people imagine.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. My biggest problem is I'll talk to a customer for an hour,
No, I know that. I know that. I'll tell everyone real quick. The first time Gary called me, he called me through Messenger before we exchanged numbers, and now we just talk on the regular phone. But a couple years ago, and Gary probably remembers this, I had a brush made from somebody else for my brother-in-law, and I said, I'll just order the knot because where it's coming from is closer to me than it is from them, right? And so
you're gonna make me look bad.
So it the knot was not going to be here by Christmas. In fact, it showed up like a week after Christmas. And Gary found out, and he called me, and he said, I'm on my way to FedEx right now. What size knot do you need? I'm going to overnight it. And he went in the evening, and it was at my door Christmas Eve, 10 a.m. So I could set that knot and give it to my brother-in-law.
That was
That's how Gary is.
that was the year that in Detroit, the U.S. mail system had backed up historical levels.
Yes.
And when Maggard shipped that knot, it had to go through Detroit, correct?
Yep.
And it was hung up in Detroit. And I just envisioned that you had gotten a handle for him and there wasn't going to be under the tree. And so I just came back to the house. I got the knot. It was exactly what it was. That's when I called you. And I said, I got to go run into town and FedEx is right on the way. I popped that sucker in an overnight package and said, here you go. Nobody's going to have something under the tree not there. You know, it's just not going to happen on my watch. So.
Yep. It was an amazing gesture. You know, Gary didn't know me that well. You know, obviously I bought a couple brushes off of him, but, you know, as a customer, but he didn't know me that well. And he went out of his way. And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that gesture.
Well, the honor was mine. It really was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because your brother-in-law, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Your brother-in-law got an excellent gift from you. And he's probably going to grow in this environment. So it's worth it.
For sure. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
J-Mac Gardner, what you got?
Gardner, go ahead.
All right.
I know you got some tech questions, Gardner.
Oh, man. I got a brush maker. Cool.
I'll try not to get too deep in the woods with you, Gary, but
I told Ken to ask you, I said, do me a favor. Be sure and tell him one thing for me. He said, what's that? I said, tell him that he wants to talk to me like life at 3,100 RPMs. And he goes, huh?
Yep.
He's a brush maker. He'll know what I'm talking about.
exactly what you're talking about. So I'll get right into the brush making questions for me anyway. So what's your favorite part and what's your least favorite part of the process?
Okay. The standard answer that most brush makers are going to tell you is sanding. That's not mine. I have a 4-step process for sanding that's so enjoyable it will make your head spin. But the least favorable thing that I have, you know, the little dimple on the handle end, on the ass of it?
Yep.
Okay. Getting that little son of a gun perfect when you're carving it out and trying to keep that dimple from keep appearing, that is probably the toughest thing I've got.
Yep.
And I found that a CI5 going into it and just barely lifting up and pulling back usually takes it out. But man, I tell you what, I fight that little dimple every time I get on the lake. It's just, it's like that little devil just keeps reappearing. But yeah. So that's my biggest, hardest problem. That's the biggest thing I've got. Sanding is not it. Was that the part? Is that the main part of your question?
Yep. Yeah, that was it. So your favorite part is sanding?
Well, my favorite part is probably the creation of it. That's probably my favorite. I got a lot of different models that I make, but being able to sit down and take the wood and build it and create it and make it come to life, that's probably my favorite part.
Nice. Very cool.
How about you? What's your favorite part?
Yeah, what's your favorite part?
I would have to say the same thing. It's when you pull a mold out of the pressure pot and it's exactly what you had in mind. That's pretty rewarding.
Yeah. Now, do you do square mold or round mold?
I do both. Depends on what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
How about you?
90% of mine is square mold. I use a 2 1/8 by 3 1/2, and I pour 90% hybrid, and so mine's automatically going to be square. Yeah.
Hybrid is much easier to do square. I don't know how you get a piece
How you what?
of round perfectly to fit inside of the tube to begin with. That would be more challenging than square.
Okay, you basically you turn it, you set your RPMs at about 1800, and then you do light passes till you knock the corners off. And then once the corners are knocked off, flip it up to about 3100 RPMs, and now you're digging. And then when you get it down to where it's about 51, 52 millimeters, you got to do that by sight. Then at that point in time, you know you've got it round. Stop it, make sure that you don't have any cuts or gouges in it, and then take it out as you need it. Then you can start shaping it. Different, huh?
Yeah, I still think it'd be easier to do square personally.
It's a little boom, 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 boom at first, but yeah, at 1800 RPMs, you're taking the corners out. The reason you don't want to do it at 3000 because when those things chip, they're going to fly it in your face. So,
Yep. Yeah, well, that.
Cool. That's pretty fun. Well, I'm glad you enjoy it.
I got more, but I can pass the buck too, whatever you guys want.
Go ahead, Gardner. I'm looking through the questions now.
Yeah, I got
Oh,
a couple here too.
What's your favorite material to work with?
Oh man, my favorite material is naturally. I mean, some people are afraid of hybrid. That's the wood and resin. It's my favorite. A pure resin, yeah. I strictly use Alumilite polymer. That's all I use is a urethane Alumilite, and that's on my hybrids and my resins. So I'm very used to that. But I say that my favorite is probably the combination of the wood and the resin. Yeah, I stabilize all my own wood, 100% of it. I buy my burls in the big caps, and then I cut them, cook them, stabilize them, cook them, and then use them myself. So I know the wood is right when I do it. I'm not getting it from somebody else.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. See, like even on this handle that I'm looking at here, every piece of that, I mean, that block, I stabilized it. Yeah.
Gardner just got into hybrids. You stabilize your own,
Yep.
Gardner?
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
the same thing. I buy it from a lumber place here, somewhat locally, and I stabilize it all myself too. I'm assuming you use juice as well.
How about cactus? You know Cactus Juice, right?
Yep.
Curtis Seaback.
Yep.
He's a close friend
That's
of mine.
great product.
Yeah, he's a really good friend of mine in San Marcos. Yeah, I occasionally go down there. That's the smartest guy you'll ever meet for colors. If you ever have stuck on a color, you call him up. He'll tell you exactly how to get there.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Nice.
You guys are speaking Japanese to me and JMac right now. We haven't got a clue what you're talking about.
Okay, can I tell a story about it so you understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
I contacted Curtis one time, Curtis Seaback. He owns a company called Turntex. He created a product called Cactus Juice. Cactus Juice is the resin we use to stabilize wood. And he was the main consultant for the Alumilite product, which is what I use. And he knows colors forwards and backwards. I called him up one day and I said, Curtis, I'm stuck. He goes, what are you looking for? I said, I'm looking for a blood red. And it's got to be perfect, deep, almost human blood red. And the guy looks at me and he says, okay, Gary, yeah. He said, do you have Alumilites transparent red? Yeah. How many grams do you have in your cup? I said, I've got about 180 grams. He says, okay, I want 6 drops of red. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He said, I want 1 drop of yellow, 1 drop of yellow. Okay. And now, copper dust? Yeah. I want you to get just about 1/4 teaspoon and drop 1/4 teaspoon of copper in there. Mix it up. I'm looking at what? Son of a gun. Son of a gun. Here it is.
Nice.
So if you ever see a colored mine It's called Bloodlust. That's Curtis's formula.
Wow.
So now you have it.
Now you have it, Gardner.
There you go,
Write
Gardner.
Write it down.
And write it down.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So if you ever get stuck, contact him. He's the greatest guy on the planet. Yeah.
What you got, J-Mac?
So Mojo's been at this for quite a while. Get some amazingly beautiful handles. What's some of the things about the brand you would like our audience to know? Some of your products that you got going on.
Are you asking what new products we've got going on, or what are we doing with the
current?
current?
Two-parter. You can go with that, and then like even some of your staples, some of the things that kind of set Mojo apart from the rest.
Oh gosh. Oh.
So
Can I answer that in a philosophy?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I say this, I got to say it with a humble heart. Okay. It's a singular word. It's called life. And when I'm making a handle, whether it's a resin or whether it's a hybrid, when I look at a handle, I have to see life in this thing. I want somebody to stop in their tracks and look at it and go, holy poop. You know,
Yeah.
I want to have that. And if I don't have it, it's kind of like, why bother?
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. I mean, I think
Yeah.
I can speak for myself and the majority of the audience it's all what we're looking for in brush handles too. I mean, that's why we want to order something and just look at it and just go, damn, how the hell did you do that? But I'm glad you did, because now I own it.
Well,
Right.
if you ask, we're going to talk a minute about, oh yeah, I know that baby.
Ooh,
She's
well,
a beautiful girl.
Hey,
there.
For those who don't know, Gary loves doing inserts. Don't let him fool you.
No,
Don't let him.
that is so wrong.
No, Gary hates doing inserts, but I happen to have one.
Is
Lone
that yours,
Tree.
Ken?
Yeah, these are mine. Yep.
I'm gonna when I meet you in June, I'm probably gonna shank you and steal that. Just saying.
Oh, you can try.
Yeah.
When Gary talks about life in a brush, this is exactly what.
Yeah.
You know, these things almost move.
Yeah. I want somebody to be able to look into it and say, holy, you know.
Yep.
And if it's not there, you can ask any of my team members, any of my peeps, they'll tell you I'll cut it in half. It's going to the bandsaw.
Yep. The clouds right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude.
I keep these in a safe, J-Mac. You're not stealing them.
Gosh.
Damn, man, that is a stunner. Holy smoke.
That's the philosophy of what we do. And it's not just me. And I don't want to hide that from you guys. It's not just me. We have a team that we work together with. And we do everything as a team. So there's times I run ideas across them and they look at me and they go, that's stupid. Okay. And there's some really good people. So it's very much a team.
Well, I love that philosophy.
Huh?
I love that philosophy, especially as a consumer and somebody like I like to pride myself in the fact that, you know, I have some nice gear, and a lot of the people in the comments here have nice gear. I like to see somebody that takes some pride in their work and wants to put something out there that's truly unique, truly special than just you know, some other companies maybe overseas just mailing it in. It's like, oh, here's a brush. The hell out of me, you know, get away from me with that nonsense. Just that doesn't appeal to me. But when somebody, you know, like artisans like yourself, you know, put the time and the effort into creating like just beautiful works of art, like that's where it's at.
Well, I mean, okay, brush maker to brush maker, we can talk for just a second, but let me give the general outline. Any brush maker can just take 120 grams of resin, A and B, and mix different colors and just pour them into a pill bottle, stick it in the pressure pot, and call it done. And, anybody can do that. But when you can take those same 3 colors and allow them to triple fold and to be able to manipulate within it, and that way it actually gives you a story in that handle. And you can look at it and just say, how in the hell did that happen? How did you get these colors to flow this direction and this way? And it's like, wow, okay, that is what you got to go for. And that's my goal every time. Now, can I screw them up? Yeah, quickly. It happens.
Yeah.
But I've worked with a couple of artisans that are brush makers, and I've seen it, and I say, tell me help. We're gonna do this way, okay? Okay, yeah. So we all step up our game, and that's when you learn, and that's when you get a hold of something like that steps you up. Everybody benefits from it when you can do that. Everybody. Yeah. And I'm an open book, so if you ever want to ask me, all you got to do is call.
I'm sure you and Gardner become good friends after this one. Both great people.
100%.
I think some of your work is beautiful, my man. Gardner's fading in or out.
And Gardner
Thank you,
froze.
Huh?
Yeah,
Gardner froze.
Instagram's a little
Finicky
weird
tonight,
lately.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
terrible. It keeps in and out for me.
Well, yeah. Everybody's kind of floating, but I did a speed test before I came on here, and I'm over 1,000. So I'm a gig up and a gig down.
Well,
I
you're too fast for us. That's the problem.
I got a good question for you, Gary. Can you
Yes,
Can you walk us through your product line?
Okay.
I know you have different. You have a few different shapes, and also one thing that you have that I hope that you're going to talk about when you answer this question is this.
Ha Okay. Which one you want first?
Do you have brushes on hand by you?
I don't. I'm actually physically in my house, in my office.
Oh, okay.
The only brush that I have here with me is Selena. I have the standard 80% of everything I make is a classic, and
Correct.
the story that's a classic.
Okay.
And the story that goes behind that shape, I was walking down the streets in Verona, Italy, and I walked by a barber shop, and in the barber shop, they had an entire little half of a window filled with shaving brush handles, no knots on them. I stepped in there. I'm full-blooded Italian, so I'm asking him in Italian, hey, what's the deal? He said, well, I bought this shop from a guy, and all these brush handles, he made them. And I saw this one up in the window, and I said, well, how much do you want for that one? He said, €3. I said, I gave him €3, and I brought it back, and I love that shape so much. That's the classic. That's it.
Nice.
Now, a year ago, I had a fire in my shop, and it completely took out the entire shop. That classic survived.
That's the one. I was just telling Jason that story. I saw that on your you did that live turn. That's incredible.
Right. That classic survived. She's a little darker now. She's got a little black around her. She was white originally, but she survived. So,
Wow.
the classic is 80%, maybe 90. I also have the Kerrville that I make that is more of an egg style. The Selena, which is a little bit on the longer, elongated. That's Selena, right? I have a Del Rio. I have several different. Yeah.
What's this one?
That's a classic. That's a classic with a smashed donut.
Okay.
That's a classic.
Yeah. So you can see the differences up here, right?
Right. I'll change up the knothole base instead of going into it at a 20-degree angle and then giving a sharp one at the edge. That's what I call a smash donut. A full round donut for the knothole base, I'll go into it really deep at about a 35-degree angle on both sides of it, and then round it out to give it a complete egg, like a horseshoe on the bottom of it. That way, it's completely round.
Like that.
Well, it's even more round
Similar.
than that. Yeah. So, it just all depends. Whatever that handle's telling me at that time, that's where I usually put it. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. But anyway, the different models, I have several different models. The Stump is one of the newer models that I'm making. The Kerrville is a newer model that I'm making. I'm questioning, I made the Stump available on the website to where all you had to do is just go in there and just tell me what color you wanted it, and I'd make it for you. It hasn't been that popular, and I don't know why. But I basically broke them out in individuals at the last drop, and then I have the master page that says drop down. It says, you want a purple and copper one, or do you want an alicorn, or do you want this or this? And it hasn't gone over that well. But I know, as all things, we're wet shavers. Hey, Rich. Rich Hansen just said hello. I know in shaving handles, sometimes it takes a little while for people to see it. I'm going to probably keep it on my website for another 6 months. And if the dogs don't like the dog food, I'm not going to try and force them to eat it,
For sure.
So, yeah.
I like that Stump because sometimes shaving your head, getting to the back,
Yeah,
being able to palm a brush like that,
exactly.
is really comfortable.
You can 2-finger palm it right here. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simple and easy.
So
Correct.
tell us about this guy. You know what this is?
I can't see it. You got to pull it up.
The Mojo Maker.
Okay. That's my knife.
Yeah.
Okay. We started out on a project. I wanted to be able to have our own knot, but I did not want an ordinary knot. I didn't want it. And I did not want just my eyes and my ears on this. So we formed a panel of 8 wet shavers, some high-end guys. If I use their names, you guys will understand. J.R. Reyes was one.
J.R. Reyes painted this.
I know.
Yeah. Good guy.
I know it.
Yeah.
Craig McDonald was
Yeah.
one. I mean, I can name all 8 of them, but I don't have all their permissions to do so. So we sat down and came up with an envisionment of what we wanted. And I told them what I want. I wanted to have a knot that was available to wet shavers here in the United States that was as close as we could get to a hand tied, that was going to be mass produced, to give it certain feel, texture, and what we wanted. Okay. Everybody came and said, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want. Okay, all right, we all got this together. So I found a manufacturer in China, and we were actually able to get a list of every single step that they used to make their knots, right? So we started going through it. Okay, if you do this process, it does this to the hair. No, you can't. Okay, you do this process to the hair, it screws it up. No, you can't do that. I do want this process and this process, but not this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. They were mad. They didn't like that idea. Oh, God. Gary, we have to stop production and we have to go take. Yeah, I understand. We found the right hair, and that type of hair is a premium grading. You very seldom ever see 2-band premium. You know, they call it Manchurian, they call it all these different names, but that don't mean nothing. You get a professional grader that grades it and says, this is a premium. You know, they call it whatever they want to. That's a premium air. It's very expensive because there's only 2 places you can get it, and it's just right on these little strips on a Badger. Okay. We had them made. We didn't have it dense enough. So then everybody tested it. Everybody played with it. It ain't dense enough. Okay. So we had to increase the volume, the max, the density of it. Go from the density. We had to get the hair length right. Got the hair length right. We basically created our own curvature. This is not quite a fan, and it's not quite a bowl. These people had to learn how to cut this. Yeah. So now, the densities on these are so much that if you follow the instructions on it, this thing blooms out like an absolute mushroom. You got to be careful because it's a 26 mil, but it will feel like a 30 on your face. So this was not a me thing. This was a team thing. And these guys, it took us a year and a half to produce that knot.
Yeah, I knew it was a long time in the making, yeah.
Yeah.
It turned out great, though.
Thank you.
I gotta tell you.
Well, it was a we thing, not a me thing. But the guy that made them for us is like, man, I'm so glad to get these out of here. Yeah. He was happy. Cool. That's the Mojo Maker. So when you see that knot, it says Mojo Maker on it, that really was a 1.5 year project.
Yeah.
Literally.
Well worth the effort, though. I gotta say, well worth the effort.
Well, most people that know me really well know I'm friendly, I'm easygoing, I love a crowd, I love dealing with people, but my detail is off the scale.
That's true.
The scale. And I will fight and argue for the right detail no matter what. So
there's nothing wrong with that, though.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. No compromise. I like it.
Yeah. It's either right or it's wrong.
Yeah. I agree. 100%. Gardner, got a question, brother?
All right, here. What's your favorite color to use in handles?
I'm known for my purples and my blues. Those are my 2 go-to. Oh my goodness, that's a Mojo. Yeah, purples and blues. Now, one of my newest favorite colors is what I'm basically calling a Bourbonnator. And
oh, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful color. Yeah.
Beautiful color. Okay. Maker to maker. 4 drops of transparent brown, 1 drop to orange. Next. That is it. So that has been one of my newest favorite colors. When you look at it and you've got that really driftwood color wood with that bourbon color on the top of it, that brown, it's becoming one of my favorites. My other favorite color that I use for myself is the magenta, my company color. That happens. Yeah. It's not quite purple. It's not pink. It's magenta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Bourbon, eh?
Bourbonnator.
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 You're gonna have to.
I'm listening.
You're gonna have to check those out, J-Mac.
That's bourbon.
You know what I'm gonna be doing after this is over.
Yeah. Everyone's gonna crash the Mojo Handcrafts website here
No
in a
doubt.
second looking for a Bourbonnator.
Man.
You know Nate?
Yeah, Bauermeister. Yeah,
He got one.
yeah,
Oh yeah, I'm not surprised.
yeah. That's really not surprising.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna make a joke and say Nate wants to know your location, but apparently he knows your location already.
He
so.
does. Yeah. That's where That's where John got his coral reef, because Nate bought the Bourbonnator, so he sold John his coral reef, because Nate has this weird thing about only keeping so many brushes.
No,
Who does
his wife only let him keep so many on his shelf,
Right.
and after that he's got to let some of them go.
Yeah.
But he has one from me that I made him and Melly Mel raise their right hand swear they'd never get rid of it. So
I'm gonna
they both
ask
got
him about that. I'm gonna see if he'll sell it to me.
Go for it. Ask him. So you know that brush that Gary gave
Yeah.
to you? Yeah. Yeah. See if he will.
So, okay, what has been the biggest challenge Mojo Handcrafts has faced as a company, and how have you overcome it? I think we may know the answer to this, but I'll let you field the question.
I'd say the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. The biggest obstacle I had, when I say it took out everything, I'm talking about everything. It just, I mean, they brought in, those big trash dumpsters that are like half a block long.
Yeah.
There were like 6 of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I had a table saw in there that was a jet table saw, 100th anniversary cabinet maker's table saw, and there's only like 20 of them made, gone. Everything was a puddle. I mean, little bins and little things and wood, either in ashes or puddles. And I literally had to gut out the entire shop. And then I had to fight with the insurance company, and that's still going on.
Oh.
And so out of pocket, I had to completely rebuild the shop and then start over. I literally contacted Courtesy back and said, listen, I need 5 chambers this size for stabilizing. I went to pawn shops and bought the vacuum systems. I literally ordered, I'm very picky on my colors, and I had to go through and I just, by memory, every single one of them, and go through and pick out colors. I'm real picky on my lathe, and I went through that process of COVID. We got ships that are out on the coast that we can't get into California. We have a metal shortage. I went through all of that with my lathe, and I finally got it in, and gotta love it. Just in case you're going to ask, I use a Laguna. I'm a Laguna fan on my lathe. Yeah. You want to hear a funny story?
Yep.
Always.
My very first lathe that I ever owned was this old Porter cable, and the rails on it were half a block long. I mean, it was huge. And when you wanted to change the speed on this thing, you had to open up this door and release the belt, and then you had to move the belts to go from a 350 RPM to a 650, and then you go to a 1700, and then you go up to 3000. So wherever you move that belt to, that's where you were at. That was my first lathe. Now I'm so spoiled because I hit one button and I hit a dial and I'm done. But that Laguna lathe, I can literally put a quarter up there on top of it and balance it and use it, and it never moves. There's no wiggle, there's no wobble, nothing.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Gardner's Googling Lagunas right now, I think. Just tell Amelia that we said it's okay, that we allowed, we're letting you. You cleared it with us.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Sounds like we started off on the same lathe. Mine was the same way. It was about 6 feet long and belts, and nothing was tight on it. Nothing was consistent.
I mean, it would wobble like it was doing a dance. I mean,
Hey, you started somewhere and look where you're at now. So
Yeah.
True.
you kind of gotta give props to those block long lathes that you guys started with, because
Oh yeah.
you're doing
We had
great work now.
to figure out what HDPE stood for, and we had we had to figure all this stuff out. Yeah. How do you keep it from leaking? I don't know. Yeah.
There's a lot
It's
of trial.
fun.
It is fun.
It is.
All right, so I got one for you. So this one is worded as, if you had to start over, would you do things differently? So you're kind of in a bit of a unique situation,
Because I've done it.
because you've had to do it.
Yeah.
So have you changed anything about the way Mojo works since the fire, since rebuilding your shop?
Yes, I have. I'm a real person-to-person person, you know.
Yep.
Guy wants to special order something, I tell him, hey, you got to call me. And it's almost like pulling teeth. I got to talk to you. A couple of things that we've done as a group, there's, like I keep telling you, it's a we, not a me. We've started different social media platforms I didn't have before. And that allows me to interact with the public a lot more, which I enjoy doing. I'm still learning Instagram. It's my fault.
I'll help you with that. We'll get you there.
Golly.
You need to help with Discord too, Ken.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm old school. I do everything on a computer. And they tell me, you can't do that on that thing. No.
Yeah.
No. It's on your phone.
Yeah.
What? I mean, like, another thing, I'm doing a lot of live feeds now that I didn't have the opportunity before. I'm doing them on Facebook, and I want to do them on Instagram. But then they start telling me, you know, Gary, you got to get a software package called BlueStacks, and then you got to get this software, and then you got to get this, and then you got to get a key, and then it's like, what?
I don't have any idea what all that means.
Me neither.
Yeah, because everything of mine's set up on a computer. And BlueStacks is a program that makes tricks Instagram to make you think you've got a phone.
Ah.
Oh, okay.
So you got to run it through there. And then you got to have OBS because you got to get a key from Instagram so it identifies where to go. And I'm sitting going, this is way too much trouble, boys. Here, I'll save it and upload it. Yeah.
I go live. I just lean my phone against something and then hope it doesn't fall.
Yeah.
I don't use. That's all I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
The live turns would be good. Gardner's done some live turns on Instagram, and those things are for me. And I know a lot of people enjoy them, but they're just so cool to watch.
And they're therapeutic. They really are.
Yeah.
I have about, right now I've got 5 guys around the world that are learning how to turn. And what I do is when they call me up and say, hey, you know, how do you get the hips right? How do you do this? And how do you reshape the handle in? That kind of stuff. I tell them, have you watched any of the live feeds yet? No. Okay, go watch the live feeds and then call me back. And then they call back and they say, I understand now. You don't have to answer anything. My customers love it. And man, if that makes them happy, I don't care. I am all in 100%.
Yeah.
Because if I've got to do it anyway, and if can I say screw up?
Yeah.
Okay. If I screw up, they're going to see it. Okay. I'm human too. I'm going to screw up. But it doesn't happen that often, but when I do it big, you know?
Of course.
Thing. But they get a kick out of it. I'm happy. And I talk to them. I've got a 52-inch TV in front of me on my lathe. And when I'm doing a live feed, I can actually see their questions as I'm turning.
Nice.
I'm
Yes,
answering them.
pretty cool. Yeah,
I'm answering them right then and there. Have a
that'd be
blast.
cool to have like you and Gardner make like pick a color or something like that, and each do a pour and then watch you each turn it together. Because you could do the two of you. It'd be cool to watch you turn them together.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, that'd be cool to watch.
Cool.
Gardner froze, I think.
I think he did. Yeah. I hate pitting two artisans against each other in that aspect, because what he does and what I do may be two entirely different things. But as long as the end result is there, that's great. Yeah, we could play that. We could play in that arena.
Yeah, it would be
Oh,
like a
you know,
contest or anything, just something, camaraderie. See
Exactly.
two guys,
Right.
what their interpretations are of what the idea is.
Yeah,
exactly.
That'd be pretty cool,
Yeah, because I did a collab with Rich 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we bounced stuff off of each other. I helped him raise his game. He helped me raise mine, and yeah,
Yeah, it's very,
that's what
very
it's all
cool
about.
for sure.
excellent.
I don't know if Gardner's going to unfreeze here.
Need
So-
to leave. Come back.
Yeah.
Got any questions from the audience there,
Oh.
Ken, down below?
There's like 20 questions in the
Okay.
question.
Well, we better get to some of those then.
Yeah, let's see here. Oh, then I click on it. It says no questions yet.
Really?
Yeah, that's weird.
Oh, Instagram's being Instagram.
Instagram is being Instagram.
Man.
Well,
Let me see if I can look at them on.
Lampoon Camp just says, "That is so cool. I own one of those collabs." Cool.
It was doing that for me the other day too. I had some questions on our feed, and just it wouldn't bring them up.
That we've been talking about. My phone is not cooperating either.
Okay.
Mine neither. It's not showing any questions here in the queue.
Oh, that's weird. But it's typical of Instagram to not be working properly. So if you have a question, I'll try and catch it.
Yeah, Instagram's a soup sandwich.
It is.
You see if there's any here on my end here. Question. Yeah, it's empty on my screen here too.
Yeah, it showed 21 questions, and then I click on it and it says no questions.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah,
Do you mind if
sent
I
a
answer
question. I saw
one?
the question. John just sent a question. I saw the icon pop up, and then as soon as I clicked on it, it wasn't there.
the $1 company.
Yep. $1 billion company
And this
working
is what we
good
get.
as they working as good as they're going to, I guess. So
Well, here's
is there
a question that a lot of people ask me a lot of times. A lot of times they'll ask me about my tools,
okay?
and
Sure.
I'll share it with you. There are 4 major tools that I normally use. I use a CI2, a CI3, a Roberts Stovel 3/4 inch oval skew, and then a cutoff tool. And the CI2 and the CI3 are both carbids, and I use nothing but NR rakes. Those are blades that are mainly designed for resin. That's what it is.
The questions just came back.
Oh, cool.
There's Gardner. Let's add him back. Yeah, this is weird. Instagram is
Oh, there
There we go.
I got questions on my end now too. I can
don't know
see them
what-
if I bring up the question box.
I don't know what happened. All right, so Shave On Gents, Carlos wants to know, Gary, who's your favorite wet shaver and why is it Ken?
Who is my favorite wet shaver? God, I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Are they wanting to know the most theatrical are my favorite.
He's just being Carlos.
Oh,
Why?
okay,
Yeah.
Carlos,
Why? He wants to know who your favorite one is and why is it me? Which you
Tell him, Carlos, you know I love you.
yeah.
There, you're it.
So
Tag.
Carlos also, this is a good question. Where do you come up with your ideas? Also, Northern Lights is the most beautiful pour ever.
I never, you know that detail stuff I was telling you about earlier. I never stop. I mean, it's kind of like the brain never turns off.
Yeah.
It never does. And I'll be sitting, you know, in a doctor's office, and I see this mountainscape for a dental company, and it's got a tree in the middle of a desert, right? And I look at that and I went, "That's Lone Tree.
Yeah.
That's Lone Tree." I'm sitting there and I'm watching a film that a friend of mine made and sent to me, and it was of the Northern Borealis. And I'm watching how in October, how it blends in the skies. Yeah, how it blends in the skies. And then what's so cool about it is a Northern Borealis. In 1 second, you'll see a little bit of purple, but the majority of it's in the green tones. And if you look at that deep into it, you'll find that you're going to see, if you turn it just right, you'll see the purple. And then you see the green. And I'm trying to emulate that Northern Lights effect in an environment with a high back that I'm using in that wood to reflect the light from the back of it to the front of it. That way I'm bouncing light from the top to the bottom, from the back of it to the front of it. And that gives that Northern Lights effect from every direction you go.
Yeah.
And, you know, Lone Tree is part of it. You guys know the story behind Coral Reef. J.R. Reyes is a close friend of mine. And until he met somebody better looking than I am, he'd come over to the house. He'd spend weekends at my house. I don't know how many times. And I look over there and I see him, and he's got a paintbrush in his hand. And I look over at him, and he's just throwing paint on a piece of wood. You know, I look at him and went, "That's a coral reef." He looked at me and went, "It is." So that's where coral reef came up. I literally sit down and I try and think of, where does the inspiration come from? It comes from just looking at it, envisioning it. Ask yourself a simple question: is there life in this? Can you look at this, hold it, look into it, want to stick your finger in there? I mean, is there life there? That's the goal.
And you accomplish it very well.
I'm just a redneck with a lathe. Don't get me wrong. You know, on my business cards it says head broom pusher. So, yeah, I'm not that big of it. But just being able to sit down and look at something and say, what can I do with this piece of clear?
Yeah.
What can I do to make you look at this and go, this is something that will trigger me.
Yeah.
This is what's going to hit me.
Like the clouds too, you know, this like looking up into the sky.
Yeah.
You know, and seeing the clouds go by. It's
I remember that, baby.
Yeah.
You know, these are all my kids. Y'all just adopt them.
That's right.
So,
You say the same thing.
And I've adopted my fair share.
there you go.
Man, beauties.
All right, let's see what else we got. What kind of razors and soap do you like from DJ Ja Rule, as we call him?
DJ? All right. I'm a DE guy. I am not a Sweeney Todd personality. Does not happen. I am a DE. My 3 favorite DEs that I keep in the Mojo Den are going to be my Carbon, my Blackland, and my everyday user that I will never give up, I got a Mercury Vision. And I have monster hands, and that fits me like a glove.
That's a beefy razor. I did
It's
not
a
go along
beefy
with
razor. It's a beefy handle, but yeah, it is. Yeah, but I've got my Blackland, I got them all, but I love those.
Yeah.
What are my favorite 3 soft products?
This is going to lead me into a question, maybe. So we'll see. I'll see what your answer is. Then it may. I'm hoping that you list one of them that you had a hand in creating.
Okay. In no specific order. Okay. These are my top 3 favorites. They all could be number 1. Declaration, 345 soap, John, and First Line.
First Line
Those are
shade.
my 3 favorites. Now, the reason I like Declaration, I love that milk soap. I just love that milk base, and I think Scott does a great job of coming up with different scents. Scents are important to me. I hate the what do you smell? No, load it up. Okay. 345, John. He's one of the best soap. He's not underrated, but I would say he's probably one of the best soap makers in the U.S. today. And I think, due to restraints because he's a fireman, he just there. I did a collab with him.
I have those brushes, but it's at home.
Huh?
Actually, I have 2 collab brushes from First Line Shave of yours, but they're at home.
Right.
The weight
I
and
did it.
Kitchewa.
I did a collab with John at 345, and I made 5 brushes, put 5 Mojo makers on, sent them to John. I helped with John. I worked with John, and he allowed me to have the final say on the scent. And,
Nice.
and that is debonair.
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 I'm wearing that EDP today. I wore it. It's a great scent.
I've got it on right now. And between John and I, God bless him, John gave up a certain percentage of the sales for the first 2 weeks. I donated all 5 brushes and all 5 knots, and we were able to donate to Wounded Warriors, I think, right at or a little over $1,600.
Nice. Beautiful work.
Yeah, those are the guys.
Yeah.
First responders, St. Jude's, and Wounded Warriors. Those are my 3. But yeah, those are my favorite soaps. Those are my favorite DEs. I'm a Gillette 7 o'clock or a Astor Green.
Nice. Let's see.
See, I don't give you little answers.
No, it's good. That's what we like.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we like.
Dewey, who just bought a brush, I need commission on that, Gary. I'm just kidding. So Dewey, his question is: Mojo prides itself on innovation. What's the future of Mojo look like? Anything new you can hint on?
Oh,
great
gosh,
question.
Yeah, I'm working on 3 projects right now. I've got it on paper. I'm still working on the A to B to C to D. And those are going to be introduced very shortly. Long term, they may have to push me up out of a wheelchair up to the lathe, but I'm going to be around. There's other products that I would love to make. I have a very large shop, and I'm thinking about it, and that's like end cap cutting boards. I love making those. Doing the heirloom quality type design, getting them just perfect, just different ideas. I'm looking at bottle stoppers, and the only problem I'm running into on the bourbon stoppers is wine all has one size per cork. Whiskey, 90% same size. Bourbon, there's like 7 different sizes. So I'm sitting there going, okay, how do I get a customer to be able to look at me and say, okay, Gary, this hole that's on the inside of this is 51 millimeters, or it's 27 millimeters, or this, to be able to tell them which one of the bottle stoppers they need. That's where the hard part's going to be, because they're very specific. But if you go to a Bullet, they're one size. If you go to a Johnny Walker, they're a different size. I mean, they're all different. So it's confusing. But how would you like to see a bottle stopper for a bourbon bottle that looks like a Mojo maker or like a Mojo?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just some ideas.
Yeah.
But I'm always coming up with new ideas. Always.
That's actually a really good idea. That's actually a great idea. Brush knot for a bottle stopper and a bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in.
Yeah. You got a shaving brush, man. And where the knot normally goes, that's where the plunger goes into the bourbon. It looks just like you go to your den, you see the shape of one of your handles. There's one on your bourbon bottle. Yeah.
Man, I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
Our good friend Gio.
Gio.
He asks a good question because I know it's hot down there. How hot does the shop get?
Oh, God. Okay, first thing off, Gio is a very close friend of mine, number one. Number two, Gio will give the shirt off of his back to you, number two. Number three, Gio comes over to the house many times.
Yeah.
And does it relentlessly, and I love the guy for it. How hot does it get? Well, we hit a temperature the other day here. Outside temperature was 116. Inside my shop was 121.
For those who don't know, Gary's in Texas, so it's hot as balls there.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, I was turning at 121.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
You can miss me with that too. Whoa.
Right.
Okay. Let me tell a Turner joke so you'll understand. I went and put paste wax down on my rails because the sweat coming down was hitting it. And so no salt got on my rails. So I was using wax protection to keep it from salt getting on it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Man.
Let's see what else we got. Angelo, the Hobbit, who's usually the host. Mojo, Gary, you mentioned your team. Do you have multiple people in your shop helping?
No. I have a team of guys that we are like a brotherhood that is a very close-knit group. It's mainly on Facebook, and we go by the breakfast group, and these guys literally, I talk about business stuff with them every day. They ask me business stuff. They help give me ideas. They keep me grounded. Gary, this is what you're thinking about. It might be a good idea. Somebody else may say that's a shit poopy idea. It involves a lot of different pieces, but these are like brothers, and every one of them are wet shavers. So they're not talking out of their hand.
Yeah.
And I lean on them. They lean on me. And you take people like Brom, Gio, Todd Dahl, Bob, Gonzo. And, you take all Anthony Vincent. We stick together as a close-knit group, and that's the band that we work with. Craig McDonald. Very close-knit group.
Good group of guys.
Oh, yeah. And it's a very select. Oh, Ken. We're a very close-knit group, and you got to be basically nominated and 100% voted before you can even come in. I mean, it's pretty strict. And these guys helped me out tremendously. But Brom's probably like the glue of all of us. So,
Brom's a good guy. He messages me quite often. Brom, he's a great guy, and I know Gio really well too. So it's a great group of guys.
Yeah, I reckon.
Well,
I recognize all the names.
Yeah.
All the names in that group. Yeah, all a bunch of solid dudes for sure.
Oh, here's a good
wet
question
shavers.
for you, Gary.
We're kind of distance ourselves every direction, and it's good for us to band together because this is a niche of a niche to a niche.
Yeah,
and that way we're all talking the same language, and they're giving ideas and suggestions, and me with the investments that I make, they're helping me turn left, turn right, go the right direction. So I depend on, and I tell them every time we talk about it, it's not a me, it's a we. So
Gary doesn't like taking credit.
I give them the credit.
He does the whole time. Yeah.
yeah.
Zenman Shaves wants to know, Gary, do you have any other artisan brushes in your den? And if so, whose are they?
I've got probably about 5 or 6 other makers where we've had conversations, and, you know, I ship you one of mine, you ship me one of yours. Naturally, I had some making required. I've got some Rich Hanson's, Rich Man Shaving. I probably have more of his than I got in mine. But the majority of my handles are ones that I made. And I tell you this so you'll know. This is a little quick story. When I'm making brushes for the mass, the group, the customer, the friends, my peeps, I'm always making them one direction. When I'm making them if I come up and say, I want X, Y, and Z, then I sit down and I make that specifically just for me. And it never gets mixed together. And so mine are usually a little bit different sometimes than what I make for the public.
Do you make yours larger because you got bigger hands? Yeah.
The ones that I make for me, the handle end is usually 51 to 52 mil. Yeah. That's
Gardner's got big
shaving
hands,
world. That's a big bottom baby.
Do you make your personal brushes different, Gardner?
No, I mean, I'll make them in the shapes that I personally like the best. But yeah, all mine are on the larger size as well for the same exact reason. I make them for what I like, and that's bigger.
Yeah. That was a good question.
Great question.
Yeah, but I made one for myself, and I very seldom ever show them. And the reason for it is, too, I tell my kids, there's a slogan that I keep on my website. One of them is Unleash Your Mojo. And the other slogan I got on there that I preach is that, I try and make something that your kids are going to fight over when you're gone. Okay, my kids do. And so I make them for me, but knowing that when I'm gone, which I hope God doesn't call me back for years and years and years, but when I do, those are there for them. And they're this part of me. It's not something I'm going to show, because as soon as you show one of mine or somebody sees one of mine, can I buy it? This I'm made for me.
Vincent Edgeworks, which is Anthony Vincent.
Hey, Anthony.
Another friend of Gary.
Yeah.
Good guy.
He's a brother.
Talk about your sons and their brushes.
I think I just did.
I know. Yeah, I know they'll rob you blind of your brushes. I know.
Let's just say this. I'm going to say this in the conservative way. Not this Christmas, but last Christmas before that. 130 handles left my den.
Gary's he's in the process of adopting me, so that I can do the same thing.
Well,
Let's see. I can't go through all of these questions because we would be here for another 2 hours.
I got time if y'all do.
Gio says, Gary, love you long time. My wife actually has a good question that Gardner would probably enjoy. Which types of tool and equipment would be needed to get started in resin making?
In resin making or in
Yeah,
shaping?
like pouring, I'm assuming.
Pouring?
Yeah, like what types of tools are necessary to like pour a blank?
Okay, I'll run through this real fast, and I promise you won't take long. Go to Sam's Wholesale. I want you to buy one of those 2.5. I mean, it's about 18 inches by 24 inches cutting board. It's a white one. It's made out of HDPE. That's what you're going to make your mold from. Then you're going to buy Alumilite. What kind of tools? Alumilite. That's going to be your polymer resin. That's an A and a B. You can buy it in a half gallon. You can buy it in a pint, or you can buy it in 2 full gallons. I buy the 16-pound kits, which is 2 gallons. When you get that, you're going to need your colors. You buy your colors, boom. Then you're going to need a pressure pot. That's where it's going to get a little tricky, because these pressure pots have to be adapted to it. But they just came out with one that is strictly for resin casters. They're around $200. You want to be able to, once you pour it and you get it in your mold, you get it inside, you crank it down, you get it up to about 70 PSI from a compressor. You do all of that, you're done.
Cool.
There you go.
I think my wife's thinking about turning brushes. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, you got 2 brush makers here that you can pick our brains.
So let's do a couple giveaways, and then we'll get into some final thoughts before we head out.
Got it.
So I'm going to let you pick the number for that one. We'll do that one second. So I'm going to have Gardner pick the number for the stump.
Oh, just so you know, that is a Mojo maker.
It's a Mojo maker.
That is a $75 knot.
Yeah, that's a great knot. It's a great knot.
Oh my gosh. Like I said, this was not a me, this was a we.
Gardner, throw
I
it
just
at
paid
me.
for it.
1,255.
Sorry to do it to you, Ken, but 42.
Jesus.
Oh, he's making you work.
All right, talk amongst yourselves.
I'm gonna let the brush makers talk amongst themselves. I'm just here to learn, so I'm enjoying
Okay.
learning about this.
What's your 4 favorite tools?
Oh, I use easy wood tools with negative rate carbide. I love those. Those are
Yeah.
I
So
don't
you're
know why
using
you
a
do
CI2 and a CI3?
Yep.
Rougher and finisher?
Yep.
Which SKU do you like?
So I had been using Sorby,
Yep.
but I wasn't a huge fan of those. So I found this one they're made in Sheffield, England, and they're a black handle, and
Yep.
the name is escaping me right now, but they're cryogenically frozen.
Right.
They sharpen much longer, and they're easier to sharpen.
See, I use a Sorby. I use the oval.
Yep.
I use a 3/4 inch oval.
Yep.
And I'll spend anywhere from 35 to 45 minutes a day just sharpening that one tool. But I'm sharpening it from rough to medium to light to hone to strop. I want this thing at a 10 on a sharpness. And I sharpen it every day.
Nice.
So cutoff tools, I use Sorby's 1/8 inch or their 3/16. If I got a lot of stock to take off in the back, I use the 3/16. If I just want to do a straight cutoff to get level and perfect, I'll use that 1/8. And it's a little bitty one too. It's so cute. But yeah.
The winner of the stump brush from Jason, this is for the handle, is Rob Fagan.
Oh,
Great,
going to
great.
Ireland.
Great guy.
Nice.
If you could contact Rob, if you could contact Jason, and he'll square up how this is going to work. And so for the Mojo, the one that Gary's giving away.
Y'all just need to pick the color. That's all
Yep.
you.
Okay.
And this an address.
Yeah. So I'll get Jason your number and I'll have you guys in contact.
Perfect.
And get that squared up.
Okay.
So pick a Gary number between 1 and 57, and this is for your brush.
Number 2
that you have. Number 2.
2.
Easy. Oop, that's the wrong button. Number 2. Shave on Gents, Carlos.
Carlos, man.
Congratulations,
Congrats,
brother.
Carlos. Yes, Canadian Mafia takes a win. Woo!
So if you want, Gary, you can have Carlos direct message you on Instagram
or Facebook
or Facebook, or if you want, I can get his address and I can just text it to you after the show. Any way you want to do it is fine with me.
Carlos,
but I'll make sure you guys get.
Congratulations, buddy.
Yeah, fucking 2 great dudes right there. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, Carlos, Rob Fagan, congratulations. I know Carlos doesn't have a Mojo brush. I'm not sure about Rob, but you guys are lucky gents tonight, and you both are deserving lucky gents tonight because they're both pretty generous people. So
100%.
Yeah. And I'm sure that's Sloppy Badger. I know he really wanted that brush, and so he's going to have to work something out with Carlos to steal it from him, I think.
Well, he's getting one of the newer models that we've come up with.
That's beautiful brush, man.
You know,
Man.
do you use a coin?
In my resin handles, not hybrids.
Okay. See, I hate coins. I know that sounds crazy. It takes away from so much light. You know what I mean?
That's why.
Yeah, and the clear ones for sure. Yeah.
So that's when I went to. I didn't want to put a logo on mine in any way. And my guys were sitting. You know, the guys I keep talking about. You got to put a logo on it. I don't want to put a logo on it. You got to put a logo on it. That's when I take them to a laser engraver that's a good friend of mine in Fort Worth, and we put these on a laser engraver, and yeah.
It's a cool idea, though. Now, I don't think anyone else is doing that. It's like a Mojo thing right there.
I hope so. But, you know, somebody's going to copy it sooner or later. And copying somebody sometimes is the greatest form of flattery. So, you know, okay. Somebody wants to do something of mine, I'll tell them how to do it.
So what do we got? Do we got any more questions? Any questions, final thoughts, anything?
I'm good, but as far as final thoughts, Gary, it's been awesome getting to know you over the last hour and a half, man. Your work is impeccable. You as a human being, impeccable. I mean, I think myself and the audience, that's why we love doing these, man. We just learn so much. Just
a redneck with a blade. That's all there is to it.
But you're a good human being, redneck with a lathe.
We try. I mean, we definitely work on our skills to make that happen, because, you know, I believe the philosophy of you put on this earth for a reason, and, you know, if you're not helping, if you're not making it right, what are you doing?
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
You
know what's kind of funny in this community, though. There's plenty of artisans that do razors, soaps, aftershaves. I get along probably the best. Like, I've made more friends that are brush makers than any other type of artisan out there.
Right.
They're just, they all seem to be just so laid back, genuinely nice people. It's got to be a brush maker thing.
The thing that I've learned about artisans, and that it's not in our group, but all the groups. Some of them love to hide behind their computers. You know, they like to hide behind that monitor. That just, it don't work. If you're not in the middle, in the crowd, and, you know, right there with everybody, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, we talk about this all the time. Presence in the community is increasingly becoming more and more important for people.
Yep.
If they don't feel like they can connect with you, they're, you know, what's the point? You got to be able to connect with people, right?
Well, they got to catch up with me to get to that point because I'm already in the crowd.
Right.
So,
Yeah, Gardner. Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of the best people, they're in here with us, getting to know us, and that's very important to a lot of us.
They're calling me saying, "Gary, I can't talk that long." Okay, okay.
Yeah. Well, I think even like since we started that Discord and then getting the artisans involved in that, I mean, I don't sell anything, but I can only imagine sales have probably helped a bit. Just the sheer access that consumers have direct to the artisan. It's like, hey, I got a question. I'm going to get in the chat thread and answer, and then boom, the artisan's right there. And it's just this whole conversation, and then I don't know why more. I mean, there's plenty of artisans that don't get in the trenches, so to speak. But like you said earlier, we're in a niche within a niche within a niche. The more closely entwined you get with your customer base, the more sales you're going to make. It's that simple.
Yeah. I have a custom order program. You know, people call, you know, they want X, Y, and Z and this and this and this. Okay. This, you know, I tell
this was a custom.
Mm-hmm.
Gary called me to ask me what I wanted.
Right.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah.
But I have to know. I have to talk to the person because you sit down and type something, I'm not gonna see it. So I got to talk to the human. I got to say, Gary, I'm looking for the blues to do this, and I'm looking at that. Okay, great. But for you to do a special order with me, I have a certain policy I have to have. Number one, once I figure out what you want, I won't accept a dime, not a dime. I can't have it. Number two, when I make it and I'm done with it, I'm going to take photos of it. And when I take the photos of it, I'm going to send them to you. At that point, you have to approve it or tell me it's a POS. If it's a POS, you're not out of thing. But if you really like it, at that point in time, we'll figure out what the rest to do. Before I ship it, that's when you pay for it.
Yeah, that's exactly how it worked with me. Yep.
And I won't allow it to go any other direction because I want the customer happy before I'm paid.
Yep.
That's just part of my way I do.
Yeah.
Different.
There's nothing wrong with that. Integrity and impeccable work.
Well, I try, sir. I try. I definitely try. You know, some days you get up and you got some great ideas, and the other times you get up and it's like, what the hell were you thinking?
Yeah.
What the heck were you thinking about there, son? Dang. Not going to happen today. Yeah. I get it. What's real funny is there's times I look at a piece of wood and I'm sitting here going, that's a perfect piece of wood. And somebody will call me from the breakfast group and we'll have 5 or 6 of us on there. Say, okay, what color do y'all think should be on it? Oh, man, we ought to do that purple. Let's do purple. Here we go. And then I take over from there and I create the environments and all that stuff. Then they look at me and go, that's the one I told you about. Yeah, that's when you told me.
So
they're greatest guys, man. Greatest guys.
Do you know, I know you have a small amount of brushes on the Mojo Handcrafts.com right now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know when your next drop is?
No.
Okay. Coming soon. You'll see me share it. If you follow me,
okay.
you'll see that I'll share it.
Here's where I'm at right now. I just finished a drop. I just got them out. I've taken 4 large pearl caps. I've got them cut. They've already cooked. I'm about to start in the hydration of the stabilizing process. Now, everything with me starts with wood. And I've got to have 25, 30 pieces of driftwood, 15, 20 pieces of red. I got to have 20 pieces of purple. And then that's when my brain says, you see this purple right here? Yeah. Okay. I want to use an orange cloud and I want a yellow resin in this. I want to have this color snow caps in it, and I want to do this. I want to do this. Okay, it all starts with that wood. I'm right now in the wood process. So for me, I'm retired. I don't need to do shaving brushes. So I'm retired. I can do whatever I want. So when I get up in the mornings, I'm full time out there in the shop. And what I do is get to that point. I can knock out 4 to 5 a day, but I have to get in those stages.
Yeah.
And it takes me a week or two to get to that stage. But what I do is I've got a gentleman that's in the Netherlands named Ivo, and he makes my banners for me through Braun. And great guy. Those are some of the best artwork you see in shaving brush banners. And he makes them for me, and we discuss, okay, should we do it on the 18th? No. Why? Well, because that's this some other maker's doing a brush drop then. Oh, let's don't do it then. Okay, let's step back. Let's do it on the next week. Perfect. There's a lot of factors that are involved.
Yeah, very cool. So live brush turns on Instagram coming soon.
If I tell you what, I'll make you a deal. If you help me with the Instagram and how to do a live feed on it using a computer, not a phone. Why did they do that?
I have
A computer. Because I've got cameras coming down on the project. I've got a microphone, a Rode mic that's over here that you can hear me. And I got TV that's being broadcasted exactly what I'm doing. And as long as I can put all that together for Instagram, I'll be all over it, like white on rice. I'll be on it, big time. You help me do it, I'll take care of it.
I know how to do it on a phone. The computer stuff is
But a phone.
way out of my realm. Maybe Gio. I don't know. Monica from Vanulay saying it's not going to happen. Use your iPad.
That's what I use.
Yeah. We got a lot of money invested in this, but it's one of those things. It's just like it's for advertising. That's all it's for.
Yeah.
But people get to see it. They get enjoyment out of it. Doesn't matter to me. I'm gonna do it one way or the other.
So in the interim, until
I'll get my phone out and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But in the interim, you do live turns in
Facebook.
It's the Mojo Handcrafts fan group. Is that the name of it?
That is.
I'm a member of it, and I can't think of it offhand.
And we've got we're still growing that group, and some of the best guys that you'll ever meet. Even Mel's a member. We're just starting to grow it. We're up to about 150 people, if I'm not mistaken. But some of the best guys you'll ever meet. Literally some of the best guys that you'll ever meet. And I basically did not start the group. Rom did. And he built it for me. I'm one of the administrators. And it's just a place that we can go and we can communicate and we can beat each other up on ideas and stuff like that. And we just had a shaving brush giveaway for the best photo for the Mojo Maker, for any Mojo. And man, that was tough. Those were some good photos.
Yeah, I looked through them. I'm like, oh man, some people take some stellar photographs, man. Like,
you're one of them.
Photographers or something.
Yeah,
you're one of them, Ken.
They were really going at it. They're some of the best guys you'll ever meet.
You're no slouch and save the day pictures yourself, Ken.
Yeah,
I do it every once in a while. I do every once in a while. It's just that I usually go to bed around 9:30, and I'm up around 5. And when I get up in the mornings, I do my thing, and then at 5:30, 5:45 to take all this equipment out to my shop and then put it in my photo booth, my little box, take pictures of it. It's a little tough, you know, but I need to do better than that. You know, I need to step it up.
That's all good. I take them in my bathroom with my iPhone, but I do have like some stuff that makes the picture better. But there are guys that do these outdoor photo shoots and stuff.
Yeah.
They're just, you know.
You know, brush makers have to be, you know, woodologists, resinologists. You know, we got to be masters of a lathe, tax accountants, broom pusher, digital marketing experts. I mean, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Photography is not my thing. By God, I got the right people behind me that know what to do. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Gio comes over to me and you ain't got it right.
Yeah.
So he's a good photographer.
Every Saturday morning, Gary, we do at TRC does a Saturday morning live at 9 a.m. Eastern, so that'd be 8 a.m. your time. I know you just said you wake up early, but you're always welcome to join if you just want to on and shave for an hour with a group of guys and just BS about shaving or whatever. They do that on Saturdays, so keep that in mind. I think we're getting ready to close up shop here.
Okay.
So any final thoughts before we call it a night?
Only thing that I can tell you is that you know, wet shaving is just a bunch of great guys and gals, and I think the world of everybody. And I think the one thing that we all got to never forget, you know, every once in a while you see the drama going on, but you never can forget these are our brothers and sisters. So treat them like that, you know. So that's what I go by.
For sure.
Great.
Gary, I appreciate you coming on. Always a pleasure talking to you. And
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
I love chatting with you, Gardner, J-Mac, same.
Likewise.
So, go ahead, J-Mac.
Oh, I was just saying, likewise. So, yeah, thanks, Gary, for coming on with us.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, this was awesome. Thanks to the amazing crowd, as usual, for being here. And if you're catching this on the replay at the Razor Company on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. These get posted every week, so if you miss it on the IG, you can catch on the replay on YouTube if that's your preferred platform of choice. So
absolutely, Gardner. Any final thoughts?
Thanks for coming on, Gary. It's nice talking to a fellow brush maker. Yeah, it's nice to talk to someone you have someone in common with.
I tell you what, I'll make you a thing if you ever want to call. I've got a 4-step process on sanding that everybody says they hate. I'll give it to you for free, and you'll love it afterwards.
I'll accept that challenge.
I'll text Gardner your phone number after we finish up here. So you guys
free anytime, 24/7. I'm an open book.
Sounds great.
Great guys, both of you. Okay, let's do the outro, and then we'll wrap it up, and we'll be on our way. That's it for this week's Artisan Spotlight. It was a pleasure speaking to you, Gary. If you stuck around until the end, thank you so much. We'll see everyone next week here live, most likely with Angelo because I'll be working. We'll see everyone here next week live at the Razor Company for another Artisan Spotlight. Have a great night, everybody, and thanks for joining us, Gary.
Thank you, guys.
Take care.
Thank you.
Guys,
see ya.
fun.